Good morning, good morning, good morning, all my Gwinnetians out there in Gwinnett land, all of my friends around the world. It's a rainy day here in Georgia right now. It is 41 degrees, going up to a high of only 44, and it is pouring down rain. Yes, it is. Happy to be with you guys this morning. I gotta tell y'all something. So yesterday after I did the show, for some kind of strange reason, I was already having an issue with my podcast platform because they told me I couldn't play music in my episodes. I was already having a problem with that. And then later on that day, I was going in there to make some changes, and I realized that the whole studio had disappeared. I'm like, what happened to the studio? So I tried to download the studio again. Still couldn't download it. So now it's saying that the studio has some type of virus attached to it. So I'm doing the show from my phone. I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy. I'm starting to be less and less happier with them, because they're blocking what I'm trying to do. And I spent like half the evening looking for platforms that would allow me to do the things I wanted to do. And I'm leaning heavily towards radio, online radio, because I can't, it's pigeonholing me from doing things the way I want to do. And now I'm having problems with the studio, and I'm doing the show from my phone, which is fine, but it takes away from my momentum and what I'm trying to do. It does something to me, right? But anyway, I'm here nonetheless. I got an interesting show for you. It's gonna be short because I'm kind of like not in my good space, if that makes sense. And sometimes you have those days. Let me just say this: sometimes you have days where things just aren't going the way you think they should go, but you do them anyway. And I was very tempted, because I get so frustrated when it comes to my show. I was very tempted not to do this show, saying to myself, "Okay, this sucks, and I can't do it the way I want to do it." So I'm not happy about that. But I'm going to do it anyway. Today I want to talk about why having a local brand is important. I had some come to Jesus moments over the weekend about some things in my life and things that I needed to let go, and what I really, 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 really want to put my focus on. I'm doing so many things, right? And not so many, because I did cut back on a lot of stuff. But there are still things that haunted me that I should be doing, which I really didn't want to do, which I really don't want to do. And I had a come to Jesus moment Sunday, as a matter of fact. And I was like, I really don't want to do this thing right here. It doesn't bring me joy. It stresses me out. Just the thought of it. When you just think about something and it stresses you out, that's a bad thing. So I was like, when I just think about it, it just stresses me out. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And so I don't get up excited to do it. I don't get up thinking like that's top of mind. It's not. Good morning, Gwinnett is what's top of mind when I get up. I went to bed late. Like I literally left out my office last night about 11 o'clock. Because I was excited about, what I was doing and the new changes I was making, and just excited. Right. And I've been doing Good Morning Gwinnett since 2018. So what's that? I'm going into my 7th year. Oh my God. December the 18th will be my 7th year. And I'm just getting to the place where I feel extremely good about what I'm doing. And it makes me want to get up and keep going, even when I have issues like I'm having today. So for me right now, it's really building out Good Morning Gwinnett as this amazing local brand. And this wasn't even something I planned to talk about this morning. I was like, what am I talking about this morning? Well, I was working on the website, making some changes. I was just so excited. And I was like, what if I did building not the local brand? Because that's what I'm actually doing. So Good Morning Gwinnett for me is a way for me to be a part of my community. And I love being a part of my community, and I've been looking for ways to be a part. And I thought I would learn something else, and it would make me a part of the community like I wanted it to be, but it doesn't. It makes me stressed out. And but I could still do the same things with Good Morning Gwinnett as I was doing with this other thing that I'm gonna let go. And so I looked at Good Morning Gwinnett, and I was like, okay, I don't want to be competing against like the Gwinnett Daily Post, right? The Gwinnett Daily Post does a lot of the local news and things like that. And we got other news organizations, like smaller ones, that do like news in their town. I didn't want to do all that. Like, I didn't want to be like the person that's just talking about Lawrenceville. I didn't want to do that. So I was like, how can I set Good Morning Gwinnett apart and make it something that makes me proud, make it something that makes me excited, but also something that's going to empower the community beyond Gwinnett? And I was like, I know what I could do. And so when I looked at the things that actually brought me joy, talking about business and technology and marketing, branding, those things bring me joy. Here's the thing. I do have local news on the site, like local news headlines. I don't have like, I don't have like a bunch of news. I don't have a bunch of bad news. I have like mostly government, town, headlines kind of news on the website. But for real, I have on the website business and AI and technology and money and crypto and that. So these are the things I'm bringing to my community. And no matter where you are in the world, these things are pretty much universal. So even if you are not in Gwinnett County, you can still come to Gwinnett County, come to Good Morning Gwinnett website, find out about some local news. But then you can read other stuff like what's going on in politics. It took me a minute to even want to put politics on the site because it's just so crazy. But I got the Civic Circus and I got Workforce 2.0 and I got, I got Tech 2025, 2050. And I'm so excited about it. It makes me happy. Right. So let's get on with building this personal brand. So I decided to talk about why it was important to build a personal brand because I am my podcast started out as a hyperlocal podcast. I met some wonderful people. Some even became my friends because of my podcast. So let's talk about that. It is a great way to become known in your community, but it's also a great way for you to become friends with people. It's also a great way for people to know who you are and what you do. Now, I got to be honest. I have not done a great job of putting Good Morning Gwinnett out like I should have because I couldn't see if you go back like 1,000 episodes, literally 1,000, literally 1,000 because it's like I'm at 1,190 episodes or something crazy. I'm almost at 12. I'm 10 episodes away from 1,200 episodes. If you go back like episode 997, somewhere in there, you probably gonna hear me say I could not figure out how to make money from this podcast because it was so hyper local, right? Even though I know people were making money, for me, I couldn't wrap my head around it. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't make it make sense for me. And it took me 5.5 years to say, okay, now I can see how to do this. Now that I see the vision clearly, I know that this is a great community podcast and community site for people who are in my community to go there and find out other stuff that they won't find on other news sites. Because on the other news sites, they talk about local sports and they talk about local housing. They talk about local schooling and local disasters and local crimes. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about growing your local business. I'm talking about leveraging technology for your local business. I'm talking about the job market for the future, for the local people that live in the community. I'm talking about technology that's going to change your life. I'm talking about that stuff. Understanding personal finance, that's anybody. And I was like, I love it. I love it, y'all. So why do you want to build a local brand? Because it builds trust. It helps you become a person in the community that people trust. Right? It helps you with your credibility. I can tell you right now, I will be a foot soldier for Good Morning Gwinnett this fall. Everywhere I go, it'll be Good Morning Gwinnett. And I'm so excited about that because I finally feel like I have the one thing I could talk about. Yes, I do a million other things. No, let me say this. I rephrase it. Yes, I can do a million other things. But the thing that I will be out there talking about is this show, is this website. It increases your visibility in the community. I was looking at this guy. I read this article about this guy. He has a newsletter called Naptown Scoop, and he's in Annapolis, Maryland. And his newsletter, it's a newsletter. It goes to people's inbox. It does amazingly well. I want to say $250,000 a year. I'm like, what? And I'm looking at the newsletter. I'm like, why? And it's a newsletter with a few ads. He does like $250,000 a year. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. This man is doing $250,000 a year on a newsletter. It comes out daily, Monday through Friday. I got to say that. But he's doing at least $250,000 a year. And I'm like, that's amazing. I can do that. Right? So, but what was interesting about that is that his visibility in the community, that's what has made him become successful because people know who he is because he's out there in the community getting community stories. He's out there in the community, talking to people and sharing what he does and making people, asking people to subscribe to the newsletter. That's what he's doing, which is amazing, right? So it helps you establish trust. It helps you increase your visibility in your community. These are all amazing things. It also attracts business partnerships. You can partner with businesses and organizations. As I sat here and I thought about yesterday, like, okay, now how can I help this? How can I help local businesses? I know I'm driving a lot of traffic to the website. My traffic numbers are pumping up. Oh, maybe I can add a directory to the website. So now businesses listed in the directory can now be found on the website. That's just another marketing platform. Make it affordable, making sure that people, can put their business in there. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I could do that. So it's like little things like that. And I'm so excited about that because up until now, I was trying to figure it out. Like, okay, how can I make this make sense? I don't want to compete with my local. I want to partner with them, if anything. I don't want to compete. And I know competition is good, but I just didn't want to compete. They've been around a long time. People know them. I had to go and try to steal market share, and I didn't want to do all that. I want to create my own market share. And I looked at what I did and I was like, okay. And I looked at what I love. And now I feel like I can be a local business partner to my local community, especially to businesses. People can go in there and read a lot of great information, but I feel like I can be a strong partner to businesses in the community who are looking for more exposure. And with the more people that I bring on to as partners, the better we can all get exposure. So partnerships are great. It's going to be a great way for you to attract partnerships. And when I look at Naptown Scoop, and I'm like, okay, he's supported by his community. Like, that newsletter goes out to like 15,000 people, and that community supports what he's doing. I love it. I was like, that's amazing. So I love that about that. Also, differentiate yourself from your competitors. Remember, I just said I really, really, really did not want to be in a position where I was competing. That's not what I wanted to do. And I was like, how do I make this work if I'm not, if I'm a news site? Well, I don't want to be. I don't want to do all that. I don't have reporters. I love the fact that I can take my laptop and do this from anywhere in the world and see great things and talk about great things and bring it back to my community. I'm that person. That's what I do. That's what made Good Morning Gwinnett different from Gwinnett Daily Post, Gwinnett Magazine, Peachtree Magazine, Southeast. It makes me different. The Snellville, whatever. I'm not talking about. They're all talking about that. That's great. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about other stuff that's going to help the business owners in Gwinnett County and beyond, because what I talk about is content that any business in any community can use. I just happen to be in Gwinnett, and I just happen to love my community. And for me, it's not about competing with the big dogs. It's really about being a compliment to them, saying, hey, this is who I am. So now that I know who I am, I'm going to go and introduce myself to all the other media people. Yep, I'm going to introduce myself because I look at my site and I look at theirs and we talk about nothing the same. Nothing. They all compete with each other. I don't compete with anybody. So I'm going to go out and meet with everybody. Hey, I just want to come out and introduce myself. Good morning, Gwinnett, blah, blah, blah. This is what the site is about. I'm excited about that because now I could talk. Like, hey, this is what I do. I do a little bit of local news, but I do a lot of business and I do a lot of tech and I do a lot of, I do some politics on a different. So my politics for my site is breaking down what some of these things mean to the local community. Not just talking about the news in general, but breaking it down so they can understand, okay, that's what they meant about that. That's how I do politics, because politics will make you go crazy. It really will. It also boosts word of mouth marketing and referrals. I heard one guy say, he was talking about his business last night. And this is how I go to bed at night, y'all, to YouTube University. I don't watch a whole lot of TV. I watch TV when I eat lunch, if I'm home, and then I don't watch TV again until I go to bed at night, which is around 10 o'clock, and then I probably stay up half the night watching YouTube University, but mostly success stories and how people did it. I heard this guy say last night he started a local directory, and, he went out, he talked to some business owners about being in the directory, he made it affordable, and I was like, okay, I like that. I like that. But what happened was someone saw him and said, hey, you need to go do this. And then he put him in touch with somebody else and said, hey, you need to go do this. His business is doing like $1 million some dollars a year just on a local directory. But because he was able to go out and be seen and meet with people, word of mouth started to take charge, and people started to say, hey, you need to go talk to such and such. And then he started offering ancillary services. Now, I thought about that. I said, okay, well, what else can I offer? The directory, I could offer, a spotlight on the show. So I'm looking at all of those things thinking, this is great. I love it. Love it. So, you want to build this strong local brand. You want to be, and when there's a business on Main Street, everybody can see it because they drive down Main Street. But when you are a business coach, when you are a insurance agent, when you are a marketing consultant, people can't see you most of the time. If you don't have the wherewithal to have a brick and mortar sitting on some street where you got foot traffic and drive-by traffic, people can't see you. So you got to get out in your community and become visible. Now, I could tell you, when I was out there doing Good Morning Gwinnett, I was literally going to the co-working space. People at the co-working space knew who I was. I would invite people to come in, be on the show, do a live show, and people was getting their messages out. I met a lot of people. Pretty much all of my local leadership here in Gwinnett County was on my show at once before they were local leadership, which is amazing. And I'm grateful for that. And so they know who I am because of that. But I fell short because I started doing other things. I should have stayed in that vein when I started in 2018. I should have stayed going. And I stopped. I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop and do this other thing. And I lost some time on building my local personal brand. I lost some time, but guess what? 2025, I'm in these streets. Do you hear what I'm saying? I'm in these streets. I'm at the events. I'm popping up. I'm buying the banners. I'm doing everything I need to do to build a local personal brand that lights my soul and feeds my family. I'm just keeping it real because that's where I am. And I get goosebumps. I get chills every time I think about it. That's where I am. Building my local personal brand, being a partner with my community and being able to help provide for my family and doing things that I actually love. I'm so right there. And that's why I was like, today it's all about building your local personal brand. This episode is about building that brand. Now, how can you do that? Let's talk about some ways you can actually build your local personal brand. If you don't have a brick and mortar store, here's some things you could do. You can start a local newsletter. I just told you about Naptown Scoop. He has a newsletter, y'all, that he and his team write some articles in, or they curate some content and they send it out every day to their community of about 15,000 people. This is what they do. They send it out. And then they do it again the next day. And they do it again the next day. And the company is bringing in probably a little bit over $250,000. It's probably more like 375 at this point. Every year, just writing and sharing great information about their community. So you may say, Audrey, I don't know how to start a newsletter. Well, there's amazing platforms out there to help you learn how to start a newsletter. And I had started a newsletter called Gwinnett Morning Spark. And I was like, I don't like doing this. But it was my fault because I was doing too much. I was adding too much to the newsletter. That was stressing me out. So I was like, it's my fault. All I had to do was go with my original concept, which was like something inspirational at the beginning of the morning with some ads that would go out to the community. I stopped doing that. I was like, I had all this extra, I got history, all of these things that were just like, okay, you are messing up. Don't do that. Do what you can do. You may not be able to do it every day, but you may say, you know what? I've collected business cards. I'm going to put these business cards in my system. I'm going to send out a weekly newsletter. You may even say, I'm going to send it out every 2 weeks. I have a client. Her newsletter goes out every 2 weeks, every other Wednesday. It goes out tomorrow. And it's about funding. Her business is about funding, and that the newsletter goes out. It's about funding, and it goes out after next week. It'll go out again because that was her capacity. Her capacity was to put out a newsletter every other week. You may say, Audrey, I could do that. But here's the thing. People inside of their database, if you give them great content, they're going to love what you do and they're going to put it out there. So you may just want to say, I want to do a newsletter. All right. You may say, I want to do a newsletter, Audrey. I don't feel like sitting down typing. I'm going to start a podcast. Hey, y'all know how I feel about podcasts. And here's the thing. I'm doing it from my phone this morning because the software is not acting right that I use with my platform that hosts my podcast. So I'm doing it from the studio on my phone. They have a studio app for my phone. So I'm literally talking to you on my phone right now. I don't even know how it's going to sound, but that's where I'm talking to you at. And here's the thing. You may say, I can do that, Audrey. I can pop my phone out and do an episode once a week. And you can do 5 minutes. My shows are kind of long because I'm always teaching something and talking about something that's long. And if I talk about everything that I've just written about on the website, it will be even longer. But you don't have to do that. You may just have 5 minutes of whatever. If you're a 5-minute marketing tip, 5 minutes marketing with Dana, 5 minutes travel with Tina. I don't know. It could be just 5 minutes. You don't have to have this long episodes of a show and just put it out there. Even if you got to Start Ugly. My friend Chris Comitsos wrote a book called Start Ugly. He's the founder of Podfest. The book is just say, just start ugly. It doesn't matter as long as you start. Start ugly and refine as you go. And the other thing too, if you know that, you know what, I don't want to do a podcast. I don't like the way my voice sound. There are amazing tools out there that all you got to do is go. And let me just say this. If you know that you can put out a bunch of evergreen content that can live on all these platforms forever, spend a couple of weeks, spend a weekend, sit down. I'm talking podcasts and newsletters. Sit down, come up with some titles, get ChatGPT Plus, write the articles, record the episodes. If you use Beehive, let me say this. If you use Beehive and you decide you want to do a newsletter, Beehive is a great platform. What I like about Beehive, depending on the plan that you have, I think it's $59. If you have the $59 plan on Beehive, when you put the article inside the Beehive to go out to the people, there is a button that says turn on the audio. You can turn on the audio. It will turn that article, the written article, into audio that you can then download. Listen to what I'm saying. You can download that as an MP3 and add it to a podcast platform. You have just did both of those things with one tool about your business, about your personal brand. You wrote an article about your personal brand, and it could be a short story. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a client story. It's local. You can say how you helped Miss Susie down the street who had a brick and mortar. She wasn't tech savvy. She needed some social media help. You were able to go on. It could be a case study, right, of the work that you've done, who you've helped. But here's the thing. You write that out. You put it in Beehive. You hit the button. It turns into an audio. Now you got a podcast episode. Listen, pick something. Just pick something. All right, Audrey, I don't want to do a podcast. I don't want to write an article, but I don't mind being on camera. On camera, I can do a TikTok. Do a TikTok. Do a TikTok. Do an Instagram reel. Do a story. Do something. But here's the thing. You got to make sure that you are connected to your local community. You got to make sure that the people in your local, like Good Morning Gwinnett, I pretty much think a lot of people that follow me on Good Morning Gwinnett are podcasters and local community people. Now, I'm on Instagram. I got to keep it real. I have a lot of content on Instagram. I don't have as nearly as much as that I have produced. There is a lot on there, but I have produced a lot. And it's not on there. Why? Because I suck at social media. I know my weaknesses. I suck. I need to bring on a social media manager, and they need to take these episodes that I do every day, and they need to put them on Pinterest, and they need to put them on TikTok. It automatically goes to the show automatically goes to my Facebook page and automatically goes to my Twitter page, but and YouTube. But it does not go to Instagram and TikTok. So I'm sucking at that, and I'm keeping it real. I'm sucking at that. I will get better. So, you can do a video. If you don't want to show your face on video, there are tools out there like a Hey Jen that you can create your own local spokesperson that will get up there and tell whatever story you want in video. And then you put that on a YouTube, a TikTok, a Instagram, wherever you want to put it, Facebook, because you have just created your own local spokesperson. Now, that doesn't help your personal brand because they can't see you, but it does help your brand. Unless you do a avatar of yourself, because you can do that. You do an avatar of yourself and you put it up, you upload it in Hey Jen, and then you create content and they will see your face. The problem with that is they're going to see you with the same dress on every time, because I don't think you can change the clothes on your avatar, which would be nice if you could, because then I think more people use it. You can change the background of what you're saying, but I don't think you can actually change the avatar itself. So you can create an avatar of you, like it looks like you, right? You cloned your voice. It kind of sounds like you, and it's telling your story. That can help you build a personal brand. That's something I have thought about. And I still think about it because I really need my YouTube channel to pop, and it's not popping. Because the only thing that's pretty much on my YouTube channel is audio. So I need video on that channel. So I'm still thinking about how to do that. So, okay, let's run down what ways to do that. Create a newsletter. You can create a newsletter. You can determine how often you want your newsletter to go out. You can create a podcast. You can create a podcast about something that you do, case studies, and you can determine how often do you want it to go out. You don't have to be crazy like me doing a podcast 4 days a week and writing on your website 4 days a week. Oh, I forgot this one. You can start a blog. You can start a local blog, a blog about, things that you do, and share that on your social media. It's your voice. It's your personal brand. Good Morning Gwinnett is a website full of content that I share, right? You can start a YouTube channel. You can use an avatar of yourself. You can clone your voice. And I know somebody's saying, oh, that sounds crazy. I'm not doing any of that stuff. But I'm telling you that these are the things that's going to help you build a local brand. And I'm talking about podcasting was quick for me. Like, to me, that's probably the most powerful tool I have in my arsenal of personal branding is my podcast. Because the one thing about me is that I can go take my microphone and sit up anywhere and do a podcast. And if I'm doing video, which I plan on doing some of that too, like when I'm doing like events, I'm doing, especially if it's in the morning time, I'm doing local on the spot videos with the microphone and the camera, all of that. I got this little, my husband bought me this little thing that you put your phone on, and when you move, it moves with you. It swivels with you. Yeah, that thing. So when I move, I got my gadgets. Yeah, I'm doing all of that. I'm a gadget chick. I got the portable microphones. I got the wireless microphones. I got it all down pat. I got the little clip-on lavalier so I can plug it to my phone and I can interview somebody and that could be live. So I'm doing all of those things, y'all, because right now for me, my personal brand is important and I want your personal brand to be important to you. And if you have not started on this journey, it's okay. It's never too late. It's never too late. It's never too late for you to get started. It's never too late for you to introduce yourself. It's never too late for you to tell people who you are and what you do. It's never too late. You can go out there, you can volunteer with charities. Like, those are the type of things I want to do. You can join a local chamber and become an asset to them. Those are the things I want to do. Like, I'm a president of a chamber, right? I would rather be, and honestly, this is just real talk. I would rather be a partner to the chamber than to be the president of the chamber. I would rather be the official media partner for the chamber than the president of the chamber. I just would, because that's my passion lies on that side. It doesn't lie over here. So I hope this helped you, and I hope that I didn't ramble too much. And I do apologize for if it sounds bad, but it's because I have no control of the studio right now, and I will fix that in the coming week, not weeks. The coming week, I will fix that problem and figure out how I'm going to move forward with my show. I may just have to leave my platform that I actually like, but it's just been making so many changes. I've been having so many issues. It's stressing me out, and I don't like to be stressed out. So anyway, that's all I got for you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for always tuning into the show. Be sure to go to Good Morning Gwinnett if you have not, if you missed the episodes of any episode of the show or the articles. This article is longer than I talked about because it's really long. If you go to goodmorninggwinnett.com, you can see the full article, the breakdown of how to get involved in your community, how to define your brand identity. Listen, all day long, I'm Good Morning Gwinnett. I'm literally thinking about, and I'm probably going to do this, going back over to LinkedIn and changing it to Good Morning Gwinnett. Like, I had changed it before, but I was like, oh, but I do this and I do that. Nope, I don't want to do any of that. I just want to do Good Morning Gwinnett. So I'm literally thinking about going back over to my LinkedIn profile and changing it to Good Morning Gwinnett, because that's what my mindset is right now. It was like that last year, and I got afraid. I got afraid that, oh my God, what if somebody asked me for something? So I was like, this year I don't want to do none of that stuff. I want to do what I'm doing right now. And now I'm about to get out into the community, and I want to be a partner to the chambers, and I want to be all of these things. I'm going to go to all the chamber events as Good Morning Gwinnett. Before, I felt kind of crazy going to chamber events because I was a chamber president. I'm like, I can't go and be like, and I could have. That was me in my own head. But now I go as myself, my authentic self. My personal brand is me being my authentic self. And it feels so good. It feels so good. I'm telling y'all, I want y'all to get to the place where you feel that good about your business. Let all the stuff go that does not serve you and what you're trying to accomplish. Let that stuff go. Look at your business. If you are sitting at home right now, or you're at work and you're thinking, man, I hear what Audrey's saying. I want to feel good like that. I want my business to grow like that. Sometimes we get so caught up in trying to build a global brand that we forget that there are people in our own backyard who want to hear from us, and we don't talk to them. We're trying to talk to the world. Talk to the people in your community. Let them find out what you do. Go out and be a vendor. I will be everywhere. I will be in these streets and when the spring come, I'll be I'm gonna have Good Morning Gwinnett paraphernalia on. I'm in the streets having a good time. I really am. That's what my mindset is, and that's what I want yours to be. I want you to become a localized business that people know, love, and support. Now, let me just say this: you got to put out a good service. We talk about this all the time. People will not support you if your customer service is horrible. If you got bad customer service, you got people working in your business and they suck, that's going to reflect on you. Even if you don't suck, if they suck, that's going to reflect on your business. And what's even worse is if you suck. So I don't want you to be that person, right? I want you to have a brand that people love and they don't mind sharing, and you're helping them out. Because I already know I can help local businesses get exposure. I know that. Why? Because I have a podcast on a news site. and I can interview them on video and stream it and put it on all these other platforms. I know that. I know I could be a great asset to my community. And for so long, I couldn't figure out how to really, for some reason, I couldn't wrap my head around that. I can see it very clearly now. What do you offer your community? Is it great food? Is it great partnership? What is that thing? Offer it to them. Be an asset to the community. That way you can build a strong local brand and that people become familiar with and they start to know and love, like, and share with other folks. All right. All right. I want to thank you for listening. You could be anywhere in the world, but you spent the last 30 minutes with me, and I love and appreciate you for that. If you missed any episodes of this show, be sure to go to goodmorninggwinnett.com to listen to past episodes there, and also connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn and YouTube at Good Morning Gwinnett. Do me a favor, go over to the YouTube channel. It's pretty much all audio there, but I still want you to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to get to 1,000 subscribers this year. I'm going to get there. I haven't figured out the game plan just yet, but I'm going to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I'm excited about that. I've been trying to do that for years, have not done it, but I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to get there before the end of this year. My Good Morning Gwinnett channel will have the necessary number of subscribers and necessary number of watch hours to get me to where I need to be to become a YouTube partner. That's important to me. Then I'm trying to go up to 100,000 after that, because then I can get the button. I know that sounds crazy, but I want that button. I want that button in my office. All right. I'll be back again tomorrow at 10 a.m. God willing. You guys stay safe out there. And until next time, my friends, make it a great day. Bye, everybody.